Jumping ahead, that last computer in the video, it was a 486 DX2, 80 megahertz, had 64 megabytes of RAM, a 1.2 gig hard drive, and it turned out that the video card, the slot that it was in, had gotten a little corroded. Not really corroded, but maybe oxidized. I didn't see anything wrong. I just pulled the card out, put it in the slot next to it, and everything worked fine. Pretty pretty speedy little computer. It's running Windows 95 in full color mode. It had a real nice graphics card in it. Anyway, we skipped ahead to this computer, the Astro XT. I really, really, really love this case. You get two little buttons on the side. You push in and just lift it up anytime you want. It's great. Gives you easy access. And this one, just like some of the other ones, the hard drive needed to be low-level formatted. It would not boot, and then it wouldn't recognize. It wouldn't. It just had weak magnetic. So in the low-level format, it kind of remagnetizes and reorganizes the hard drive. Anything that's faded away brings it back where it should be. Wow, this computer was actually made not too far from where I bought it from. That's neat. But it's got a TAC drive, just one. And this is designed to have multiple, 4 drives. Got the extra mounting bracket. And right now, yeah, it's doing a low-level format. What's interesting is, this is just a regular 8088. You got 640K. And right here, we have a time card. It's a clock card. That's all that does. But over here, we also have a time clock. So this computer's running 2 time clocks. I'm not sure why. One of those is probably going to have to go. But the problem when I first turned this computer on was the original CGA graphics card. Apparently somebody's done a fix. I have never seen anybody glue a chip to the back of the board instead of desoldering the bad chip and replacing it. But it didn't work. It just shows a bunch of garbage up on the screen. So, unless they reprogrammed it to run on an EGA monitor, which I doubt that just wouldn't be enough. More than likely, that's gotten messed up, and the card's bad. Okay, so it's finished the low-level format. Now we can run F-disk. Good little clunky TAC drive. And there we go, everything's working fine. Before it said error reading fixed disk, now everything's just hunky-dory. And now it's gonna boot again. Looks like this has been in a smoker's. It's very, very yellowish gray. Yeah. Computer XT 1985. Version 7. I suppose I could start getting authentic with these and actually putting DOS 3.3 on these older computers, but I don't have 3.3 handy. Proceed. And it is a 20 megabyte ST225. Nothing too fancy. Well, it seems like every PC computer had an ST225 or a 251. But back here we've got that time card, our clock card, and we got a parallel port, your hard drive controller. This is the multi-IO. We got the floppy controller, and let's see, serial. Yeah, serial, parallel, and a game controller port on this. And then we have the CGA card, which also has a game controller. So you could plug 2 joysticks into this computer and play some games. Let's see, can we see what kind of chip it is? NEC 8088. So yeah, this is a pretty sturdy case too. This is the one that's got the optional hole in the front there. You can run your keyboard out through the front. Some motherboards, I don't know if this one's got it. No, it doesn't have it. But some motherboards have a header pin right next to the keyboard connector, and you can plug an external keyboard and run the 5-pin DIN up to the front or somewhere else. Yeah. I first looked at this and I thought, oh no, this is the monochrome graphics card. No, it's color. It just unfortunately doesn't work. That chip does look kind of sad and tired. And we're almost done. Okay, then we'll do our X copy from A to C / DOS. And we want DOS to be a directory. I don't usually have too much luck with TAC drives. They usually, well, the heads go out of alignment quite frequently. It'll work fine on this computer, and you'll pull the disk out, put it in another computer, and it won't work. And vice versa, you'll pull the disk out of another computer, put it in here, it won't work. But if you keep all the disk on this computer, it'll work fine. That's because the head gets misaligned. However, if it's this old and it's still reading my generic disk, then likelihood that it's just fine and it will probably last, you know, another 20 years, 20, 30 years. Alright, let's reboot this computer. It does a boop boop. I don't know why it does that. Counts the memory. And it thinks about it for a little bit. Takes a couple seconds. And there it goes. DOS 6.22 does take a little longer to load on an XT than 3.3. But like I say, it's what I have handy, and this is basically just to test and show that the hard drive is working and it does boot. And that's the biggest thing, is to test to make sure that the hard drive actually boots. Because I can't tell you how many times I've taken a hard drive and low-level formatted it, partitioned it, and then formatted it, and then it wouldn't boot. If it doesn't go through that entire process that I just did, then something's not right. Either you got your data cables backwards, or the hard drive's not set up as drive 1, or you don't have a terminator in when you should, and you do when you don't need it. And but that's it for this one. Push the little buttons in, and the case closes up nice and tight. I like this case. Wish I had more of these. Next. And I get my little sticky note. Just says what it is, how much memory, hard drive, works. And then the only issue is it has 2 clock cards, and then I replaced the video card. And then I will take this little sticky pad and stick it on the front. That way I don't forget. Because I have a pile of computers that need work and a pile that's good. The ones that's good are the ones I want to start putting games on them. The pile is bad is the ones I want to pull out and work when I have more time or have a fresh head and don't have a kitchen full of computers. I'm getting it down. I got the other the Macintosh up and running, and it's got a password on it. Can't get into the operating system. And I don't have any. I can download image files for the floppy disk to make the install operating system 7.5, but I can't write it to the disk because it's a weird format. So I don't know. I'm kind of stuck. I'm gonna power this one on here in a minute and see if this one's got a password on it. And they say you can use an emulator to make the disk that you need, but you have to have the ROM, a copy of the ROM, so you have to have a working computer. It's all catch-22. Let's see. Which one of these? I think this is just an empty case, but I think there's a motherboard inside it. And same thing with this one. This one's missing screws. Which one? The big one or the little one? Littler one. I'll grab the big one. And put this away.